Hello, it's Doris with Aldi Books, and I'm here with part 2 of my Q&A. There will actually be a part 3, but it'll kind of be in a vlog format, sort of, but I'll mark it for you. I gotta hurry because it's 5:09, and the sun sets behind that mountain at like 5:30. So this segment of the Q&As will be all about my life in China and my thoughts about my life in China. So first up, we had a lot of questions about, am I learning Chinese? So Draw Your Books says, do you wish you spoke Chinese, or is it not really necessary in the environment that you're in? Dee Dee from Brown Girl Reading says, have you learned any Mandarin since you've been there? Have you taken any or plan to take any Chinese calligraphy classes? Stewie Griffin fan says, did you learn any Chinese when you were in high school? And Jen from Fantasy and Fiction says, what Chinese words have you learned? So the words I've learned are Shishini, which is thank you, and Sing Yang Kuai Lor, which is Happy New Year, and I forget, I think there's one more. And I did not learn Chinese in high school. I learned Spanish in high school. But when I was teaching high school, I did learn 2 Chinese words, and they are Sui Zhao Feng Bi, which is you fart in your sleep. There's a story behind that. I taught ELL and ESL, and I had Chinese students who would sleep in class, so I had them teach me how to say that. I had the brother teach me how to say it about his brother. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I do not have any plans to learn Mandarin because I have a really good ear for language, I think, but Mandarin is a tonal language and it's very difficult, very different, and I don't have the mental space because my job is consuming. It's just really, really consuming. So I haven't taken calligraphy classes, but every year for like the autumn festival, the Chinese teachers will set up little calligraphy stations that you can, play with it. And so that's really fun. I have done that. And I don't really wish that I spoke Chinese because it's not necessary in the environment that I'm in at all. And if you don't know, I am teaching at a college prep school here in China, English, obviously, and everybody that I'm around on my day-to-day life speaks English, or enough of it that we can communicate, or there's always somebody nearby. And also, China is very technology forward. They have an app called WeChat that you make friends with. It's like, Voxer. It's like text messaging basically, but it's a group format, and everybody just does it. You make groups, you make friends, and if you get messages in Mandarin, it press a little button and it automatically translates it for you. So it's very easy to communicate with people here. So yeah, no Chinese for me, no Mandarin, no calligraphy. So more questions from Draw Your Book. What is your favorite and least favorite thing about China? What was the biggest culture shock moving there? And what was the biggest reverse culture shock when you went back to visit the States? You seem to be enjoying yourself a lot in China. Was it hard to get to that point of comfort? No, I enjoy China immediately. Just immediately. And part of that was because I was coming, I had somebody here to kind of ease me in. He had been here a year prior, and it's really fun teaching at an international school. It's a real community environment, so I'm enjoying being a part of the community. I love the students. I'm spoiled because it's a private school, and the parents, have put pressure on their children to succeed because they're paying a lot of money. But it's really fun teaching kids that are striving to be at the top of the heap. Very intellectual conversations that I have had with them. I love where I live. I'm spoiled because, I'm looking at it right now. I live on the beach with a mountain view. Really. The weather is, it's hot, but I'm from Florida, so, it's cool right now. We're having a really cold snap, so you're going to laugh, but it's going to be like 40 Fahrenheit tomorrow, with a 50% chance of rain and 12-mile-an-hour winds. So I'm going to wear my polar sweater. I enjoy the food. Surprisingly, I can eat a lot of it because, I'm celiac. But our school cafeteria, we have a 5-star chef, and he was very gracious, he and another lady, to kind of steer me toward things I could eat. And luckily in this region, they don't put a lot of soy sauce in things. So soy sauce is fermented with wheat, and I can't eat wheat. So a lot of the fried foods, they don't flour isn't traditional here. So they bread a lot of things with potato starch, which I can have potatoes. I can eat potatoes, rice, corn, oats. So the food is really good. However, I do miss food from back home. So I miss sandwiches and pizza and I don't know, just the food here after a while gets a little monotonous. And part of that too is that I'm in a smaller town, so there aren't a lot of restaurant options. So we tend to go to the same few that we like. So, that's just a spoiled thing. I'm fine. But I did have a great deal of fun eating while we were in Italy. I would say another thing that I really love about living in China is we're back in the environment of my youth, in that it's a lot of small mom and pop stores. There aren't all of these big box stores everywhere. And that's just really refreshing. Consumerism isn't as much of a thing. You can get a lot of what you want on Taobao. If you know, you know. Taobao is like Amazon on steroids. But as far as walking down the street, there are lots of things available, but it's not every damn thing that you ever wanted. And, it's just really refreshing to not be consumed by wanting to buy every single thing you want. I don't know how to explain it, but it's really good. It's good. What else? I'm sure there are lots of things. I find I'm embracing the minimalist lifestyle, and I enjoyed being a hoarder as well. There's no shame in that game, but I'm really enjoying not having a bunch of things too. It's nice. It doesn't clutter up your mind. So I'm actually going to be doing a purge video soon. Dealing with VPN, which is, you have to have a VPN to access YouTube, for example, Instagram, a lot of platforms, social media platforms that I'm used to using. I have to have a VPN to use them, so that's pretty annoying, to be honest. But overall, I'm living the life here, and I love it. I'm losing the light. I need to hurry up. Okay, so I think I'm done with that side. I finished one side. So Britta says, I'd love to know whether or how moving to China has changed your reading, like the type of books you read, reading habits, etc. So my job, like I said, is very consuming, and also I'm in a relationship, which, you know, it's a time suck being in a relationship. I kid. Not really, but it's true. I mean, you have to make sacrifices for those kind of fun times, but I read less, I would say, but I'm getting into a better habit of reading when I can. So I think my reading is back on the upswing. To be honest, you know, the relationship like sent me for a loop, but we're on I think pushing toward the 3rd year now. So I'm getting back to normal, you know, less butterflies, but I mean, still enough. And like I'm attracted to more titles from Chinese authors or about China, definitely. I read a lot more ebooks and audiobooks because I don't have access to English language bookstores very readily, books very readily. And again, that's kind of refreshing. I've gotten away from the book collecting aspect of BookTube. I've given a lot of books away. Now, when I buy books, it's just for the sheer joy of buying a book and supporting authors, because I give a lot of those books away, either to my school library or to English teachers who read them, or I'll leave them in hotels. Just depends on the book and, you know, where I am at the time. So, Kathy from the Grim Reader says, my first question is, what little everyday things do you miss, and what other things have you discovered in China that you now cannot live without? I love flowers. You all, if you've been here a while, you know I love flowers. I used to photograph a lot of wildflowers in Tennessee. I don't get around a lot of wildflowers at the moment because of where we are, and but there's a florist in the next little town. We bicycle over there probably like every other week, and most of the time, I don't at the moment, but most of the time I have fresh cut flowers in my house, like all the time, and huge bouquets of lilies and roses and just whatever. And I will miss that if I ever am in a place where I don't have access, can't afford them. Actually, we have orchids. We have fresh orchids right now. So I really love that. What else did she say that I've discovered? Or, yeah, I think I've, you know, answered a lot of that already, but if I think of anything else, I will chime in. I mean, most of the things are either lifestyle, food, or pretty things, you know? I mean, in my world, books. I mean, most of it is lifestyle, hobbies, and food. Like, that's it. That's life. Laura Elwing says, I don't know if you mentioned it before and I missed it. I wonder how the opportunity to work in China came to you. Did you look for the job there, or were you invited by a friend already working there? So yes, my boyfriend, who was actually my headmaster 30 years ago now, at my first teaching job out of college, was in Guatemala. So I met him then, and like I only stayed there for a year, and like a couple weeks before, I mean, we flirted a little bit in the spring, you know, spring fever, but we didn't date because, you know, ethics, but right before I left, I had not renewed my contract, and right before I left, we went out a couple, 3 times, and then, you know, I kind of ghosted him, shamefully. But he's the one that I always thought my whole adult life, you know, what if? And during the COVID, he just Facebooked me out of the blue. I hadn't talked to him in, you know, 27 years, something like. And we just started talking every day on Facebook like we had never stopped, and I ended up moving here. So typically to get these, this is a really high level international school, and typically to get these jobs you would apply, like you can apply through international recruiters, or look for job fairs for international schools. The network that I work for is called BASIS International Schools, BASIS, and they're predominantly in China. There are 2 or 3 in other locations, but yeah, it's pretty awesome, I must say. And then Lunacha Book says, are you considering moving to another non-US country after living in China? Yes, we are. And if you've never lived in another location from your own original home country, you might not understand this sentiment, but it's really nice to live in a place where you don't belong, because a lot of the societal norms don't apply to you because you don't belong. And this can, you know, be a bad thing. Like in the States, it's kind of the reverse, because prejudices. But I think I gotta go. Sorry, the boyfriend showed up. Anyway, I'm embarrassed to talk in front of him. I don't know why. But anyway, so we will definitely, like, he's Canadian, and I'm from the States, if that's not apparent. But we won't live there either place for a long, long time. He will end up retiring before me, so we're thinking to move to Europe for a couple years. We're looking at, I loved Italy. I adored Italy, okay? Oh, so good. We're also going to check out Spain and Portugal. Those have really good reputations for retirement for foreigners. And then eventually we might end up back in Central America or possibly South America. We want to get closer to home, but not all the way home, if that makes sense. So, and I speak Spanish pretty well, and Brent also knows quite a bit of Spanish. Like, he used to be better than me, but I'm probably better than him now. He hasn't used it in a long, long time. He has been living overseas his entire adult life. He was in Guatemala for 6 years, and then he was in Papua New Guinea for 20, and then he was in Vietnam for another 6 years, I think, 6 or 8. Anyway, and he's been in China for 3 now, so his Spanish is rusty, is what I'm saying. But yeah, we are definitely going to be living overseas for a long, long time and loving it. So I have 2 more questions from sorry. From Jen, Fantasy and Fiction, and Lady King. I have 2 more questions, but I'm going to save those for the next Q&A. So, thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon. Bye.